Well, I hope you guys are ready for what is the second match out of 12 here on this Armageddon pay-per-view. And I know I'm surely excited for it, as we've got a 14-team Gauntlet match. Just to explain it a little bit to you guys here, 14 teams total will enter this match. 4 teams will start, yes, I said that, 4 teams will start this matchup. And it'll work like a standard gauntlet, a gauntlet eliminator, I should specify. As one team gets pinned, they will be walked out the building, and another team will be allowed to enter. And speaking of our first team out here will be the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson themselves, a team that realistically has not had the best of luck here in damn Defiant Wrestling so far. In fact, they've kind of had a little bit of a hot streak when it comes to losing, though they have at least won 2 matches that I can recall off the top of my head, one being a 5v5 tag match with the Elite versus the Hurt Business, also now known as the Hurt Syndicate, and as of late, most recently, they beat the LWO alongside Adam Cole in a 6-man tag. But speaking of a team that I would love to see them go head-to-head with, we've got Carl Anderson, we've got Luke Gallows, we've got the Good Brothers representing the club here tonight. And we all know we need Finn Balor and AJ Styles to retain, and these guys to win to have the club on top here tonight. And will AJ Styles be able to reclaim that Intercontinental Championship? You'll have to find out when that time comes. Same thing as far as Finn Balor retaining the United States Championship. But speaking of a team that hopes AJ Styles doesn't win, we have FTR coming out to the ring, they're in the ring right now. We have the Briscoes making their way out to the ring right now, as we're finally getting into the 4 teams that will start this tag team gauntlet. We've got top 5 dead or alive in Jay Briscoe and Mark Briscoe. We've got the Good Brothers representing the club, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. We've got Dax Harwood, and we've got Cash Wheeler representing the Pinnacle and FTR. And this one's starting off hot, as Mark Briscoe has been sent out to the ringside area, and Matt Jackson eats a boot to the ribs, and he is also sent out to the ringside areas. This is extremely chaotic already, but as we pan in the ring, the Good Brothers were looking to have Dax Harwood in a little bit of deep shit, but Nick Jackson here is helping out Dax Harwood for whatever reason, but it's not mattering too much, as Doc Gallows just delivered a swift uppercut to Dax Harwood, but he also then proceeded to eat a roundhouse kick by Nick Jackson, and we've got a double Tower of Doom to take out Doc Gallows here, Luke Gallows, whatever you would specify to call him. But all of that aside, Mark Briscoe is the only one standing on top in the ring right now, as Matt Jackson and Carl Anderson are fighting over in the left side of the arena. Here is Matt Jackson. He is showing off to the crowd right now. He is not giving that much of a shit, as Luke Gallows, he's got Mark Briscoe pressed overhead, and he just threw him out like trash onto Jay Briscoe and Cash Wheeler there. And as the Young Bucks look to have a double team maneuver, Luke Gallows stops him, and Carl Anderson with a pop-up cutter to Matt Jackson. I know Tyler would love that, as Carl Anderson slides in the ring and hits Dax Harwood with a cutter as well, as we get a little bit of magic killer from the Good Brothers, but sadly it does not put the Jacksons away, or the Young Bucks, whatever you want to call them. But we're getting a little boot of doom action here from the Good Brothers, as they are really trying to take the Young Bucks out here. But again, the Young Bucks manage to break that pin up, as Nick Jackson threw Carl Anderson into the pin, and he is now feeding super kicks to Luke Gallows as we get a double super kick to Luke Gallows from both of the Young Bucks. And now they're looking for that double team maneuver that they didn't get to hit on the outside as Matt Jackson comes in and he flips in for that Indy taker, and he just rolls right back out. As what is he going in for now? He hits another flip into a leg drop as he hits a face buster, does Nick Jackson. But that pin attempt was broken up by Luke Gallows as he hits the Gallows pole. Will he get the victory here? No, he does not, as Matt Jackson, he just got the rope break. Something I'm honestly shocked is actually eligible here in a 4-way tornado tag match. But Dax Harwood taking advantage of Luke Gallows being distracted by the referee, and he's just laying it into Carl Anderson as he had his face covered up in the ring apron, but now he pulls him out and hits him with a pile driver on the outside. And well, Luke Gallows finally noticed, but it was too late as the Young Bucks hit a double DDT after kicking him square in the belly. But Dax Harwood just threw Carl Anderson into that ring post. And well, now he's getting ready to beat his face off of my announcer's table. And as Dax Harwood is doing this, let me remind you, we have yet to see an elimination still, as Luke Gallows might have been getting set up for an Indy taker, but he reversed it, throwing Matt Jackson to the outside here onto my announcer's table. Thankfully, he didn't break it. Oh wait, that was Nick Jackson, as Matt Jackson just almost got choke slammed. He flipped out of it, but ate a big boot for his troubles. And what's Luke Gallows looking for here? I don't know exactly what he calls that. That could be a second variation on the Gallows poles, but it got the Good Brothers the W here as they are the first team to score an elimination. But then FTR sneaks in and just hit a big rig on Luke Gallows and Cash Wheeler. He is holding Carl Anderson back as they just eliminated the Good Brothers. And well, I'm shocked, but I'm a little bit more shocked that we've got Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel making their way out. These two men haven't been seen since the Legends Night Battle Royal, and well, let's be honest, we all know they're looking to make a name for themselves as they are staring down with FTR here right and now. And well, don't forget, there was technically 2 eliminations back to back there. So now we've got the arrival of Santana and Ortiz, also known as Proud and Powerful, as a discus lariat and a big boot have been thrown, taking out Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater. And now they're going toe to toe with FTR as Ortiz just speared Dax Harwood to the outside of the ring, and now Santana and Cash Wheeler are also fighting on the outside here. Santana just hit a Uranagi on the barricade there, and well, the other 2 teams that are out here right now, they are taking their time to get back in the ring, as Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel, I don't think, anticipated to get hit that hard. And well, after that tumble that Mark Briscoe took thanks to Luke Gallows, I wouldn't be too shocked if they just kind of lie in wait for a little while, as Santana and Ortiz tried, but they kind of failed to double team on Dax Harwood, as we just got another big rig. And well, Ortiz, he hits a belly to belly, breaking up the pinfall attempt there, saving his team, as Jay Briscoe's had enough. He runs in with a shoulder block. He runs over, he knocks Santana off the ring apron, sending him into the barricade next to Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel. And he looks to hit a Jay Driller, and he does. But Dax Harwood sneaks in, picks him up, and hits him with a pile driver. And he doesn't even go for the pin. What a dick move there, as you could have 2 eliminations potentially in one go. But Dax Harwood still showing off to the crowd, even as his tag partner is hurt on the outside. And while Mark Briscoe's had enough, and so having Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel, as Heath Slater hit the sleeper slam, and Justin Gabriel turns inside out for that 450 splash and a double pin to Dax Harwood. Does it get them the victory? It does, as Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater might have pulled the upset victory of the Gauntlet. And well, speaking of an upset, if the music is hitting just right, Santana and Ortiz might be in for a little bit of a scare, as we've got the Pete himself, Christian Cage, in the house. And we all know when Christian appears, a certain rated R superstar follows, as we've got Edge also making his way down to the ring, and we already know what kind of extreme lengths these two are willing to go to just to try to capture some gold. What are they willing to do tonight just to earn the number one contendership for another opportunity, as they spear Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater out of their wrestling boots, and Jay Stifler had to jump over Heath just to count this pin, and it went through, as Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel are eliminated just like that. But it sounds like we've got a new team in the house, as I'm kind of excited to see who it is. Oh, we've got Austin and Colton Gunn, the Gunn Club, also known as the Sons of Billy Gunn, Mr. Ass himself, and they are coming straight down to the ring, and they are standing toe-to-toe with Edge and Christian, and they are not holding back against these two. And well, now Santana and Ortiz, they're getting into the mix, and it's just all out chaos here as Christian Cage slingshots Santana into a spear. And well, the Guns, they were just beating down Ortiz, and they just knocked Edge and Christian into the Briscoes, sending them to the outside of the ring as they hit their own version of the Shatter Machine, or the Big Rig, whatever you want to call it. I'm not exactly sure what they call that, but Edge hit a beauty shot, shades of Tyler Breeze, Colton Gunn with a Famouser, and Ortiz with a sit-out powerbomb, but it doesn't get him the victory over Edge and Christian. But Santana with a chair, he is wailing on the back of Colton Gunn, and now Austin Gunn feeling the same effects. I hope I'm getting them right, as Austin Gunn eats a pile driver penalty kick combination, and the Briscoes, they're setting up for a devastating table spot. But speaking of devastating, if you haven't watched The Cage of Carnage, then you don't know what this is a callback to. But Santana just driving a fork into the face of Edge, but the Briscoes putting a stop to Santana and Ortiz, as Santana just got driven face first into a steel chair with a DDT, and Ortiz just ate a J driller through the table. It's not often you see when someone sets the table up, they drive their opponent through it. But we've got a doomsday device just like earlier, but this time Santana landed on a chair, and it didn't take two men to pick him up. But Mark Briscoe earns a victory for him and his brother here tonight, as we get into who the next team shall be. And I guess it's time to get a little extreme, as we've got the Hardy Boys making their return here tonight. Last time we saw them was at the last pay-per-view when they teamed up with CM Punk to go up against the Hung Bucks. You know, the Young Bucks and Hangman Adam Page in a six-man tag that went all over the arena. But speaking of, Jeff Hardy just using his brother like a ramp, taking out all the men in the ring. But Edge and Christian did not stay down. very long. And same thing with the Guns as they knocked Edge and Christian into the Hardys. But Jeff Hardy, he stands right back up, and Austin just threw Colton into Jeff Hardy for a blockbuster with an arm drag. And he picks Hardy up and throws him face first into the middle turnbuckle. That could have given him some whiplash. And it looks like he's going for a famouser, just like Colton did earlier, but Edge stopped him with a big boot. And we've got a double team maneuver here as Matt Hardy and Edge hit a side effect Uranagi combination, and Christian just threw Colton to the outside of the ring, and Colton's holding his back. He must be hurting there as Jeff Hardy hits the twist of hate, and Matt Hardy caught him with his neck breaker on the other end, and they go in for the pinfall. Well, they get it. They do. The Hardys pick up a victory here tonight on their own accord. As well, sadly, the Guns, they didn't get an elimination, but they did show off here pretty well. As the next team out here is the Dudley Boys, and it's kind of nice to say we've got a TLC reunion here in the building here for Armageddon, but the Briscoes can't allow that to stay, as they are here to make a name for themselves. They beat Austin Theory and Grayson Waller to earn this opportunity here tonight, and they're not gonna let a handful of legends just take it from them. As well, Jay Briscoe sadly just got driven through a table with a kill switch, taking him just clean out of the picture here, and Jeff Hardy flipping that table so Matt Hardy could hit a side effect off the top rope onto Devon Dudley, and Christian Cage and Edge hitting a crossbody doomsday device combination there. This is all out chaos as we got the Hardy Boys combination here. It does not get Bubba Ray Dudley out though, so the Dudley Boys survive here just a little bit longer as they go for it yet again on the table. But Jay Briscoe saving Bubba Ray, and Bubba Ray hit Jeff Hardy with that chair, sending him flying out of the ring here. As Mark Briscoe and Christian Cage are battling it out here on the outside, Bubba Ray and Jay Briscoe were thinking about what they're gonna do next, and Edge tried to hit a spear, but Jay, he caught him in for a Jay Driller, but what he wasn't expecting was for Bubba Ray Dudley to turn his back on him to help Edge out with a 3D through the table, which also eliminates the Briscoes, the one team that was here since the very beginning of the match, the Iron Men of this matchup, as they get replaced with a new team on the block in MSK, or well, Wes Lee and Zachary Wentz representing the Rascals, and they started off heavy and hot as Wes Lee giving Christian Cage all of the kicks, putting their educated feet to good use right now as both of them feed some kicks to Edge. And well, now Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon trying to put a stop to this, but Zachary Wentz hits a Hurricane Rana on Devon Dudley, and Wes Lee and Zachary Wentz just take them both out, but Bubba bouncing off the ropes takes MSK out with a double clothesline here in this arena. This is a jam-packed gauntlet matches. Jeff Hardy comes in with a whisper in the wind, taking both teams out. Shades of that movie did earlier, but Bubba Ray, he just reversed a twist of fate, and Wes Lee comes in with a double Pele kick out of that backflip. And while speaking of a backflip, MSK just hit that tag team maneuver there. I don't even know exactly what it's called, but that was a thing of beauty as Edge just spears Zachary Wentz, and Christian Cage hits Wes Lee over the head with a chair. Will this be the end of MSK? And it is. What a short-lived run here for the two, but I can't even say that was a bad run at all, as they were running the block for a minute here as well. It sounds like the LWO are supposed to be coming out. I'm a little confused. Where are the LWO at? Why'd the music change all of a sudden? The Street Profits! The Street Profits have just come out here, beating the hell out of the LWO backstage, I'm assuming, and just finishing off the assault here at ringside as Dawkins just threw Lindsay Dorado into Grand Metalik after throwing Grand Metalik into that stage truss area, and he just almost threw Edge and Christian straight out of the ring with that pounce, leaving it down to the Dudley Boys versus the Street Profits here right now. And Bubba Ray Dudley has been taken out pretty quickly, and they just hit that spine buster frog splash maneuver. They want all the smoke as they take the Dudley Boys out in quick succession here, introducing the next team. Oh no. Oh boy, we've got the Acclaim here in the house. Well, everybody loves the Acclaimed, all except for the Street Profits, especially Montez Ford, apparently, as Angelo Dawkins is celebrating that early entrance beatdown as they got Anthony Bowens cornered, and they plan to do the same as what they did to Devon Dudley, and they are doing exactly that with that spine buster frog splash combination. But Max Caster comes in with a mic drop, and they're both pinning Montez with that double pinfall, but Dawkins, he just stopped the referee's hand and threw him over to the side to stop that pinfall attempt. And now Edge and Jeff Hardy are battling it out here, kind of shades of Carl Anderson and Dax Harwood. But Jeff Hardy, he isn't stopping theirs. He's rolling Edge onto the announce table here right in front of me, and he is still beating on him, just straight fist to forehead, as now Jeff Hardy finally stops and poses for the camera as well. Dawkins, he just threw Max Caster to the outside of the ring, and he just landed through that broken half of the table as well. The silencer has been hit, and the smoke has been connected, as Anthony Bowens did not kick out of that. The Street Profits earned their second elimination of the night. But before we get into the final team, Jeff Hardy with a swanton bomb. Edge has just been taken out by Jeff Hardy, but with little time to react to that. I hear the music in the background, and if you're not able to recognize it, let's bring you guys all the way to Detroit, because we've got Motor City Machine Guns in the house as the final team out of 14. Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, both world-renowned athletes, as they have teamed almost everywhere you could probably think of, and they are showing us why they are the last entrant here, as Chris Sabin just single-leg drop-kicked Montez Ford. Alex Shelley, he just rolled through, and Chris Sabin just came flying in with another drop-kick, and Alex Shelley catches him. Chris Sabin hits him with an enziguri and a flatliner combination, as the Guns are just taking control of the matchup right now. If they can, Motor City Machine Guns could possibly take this whole damn matchup right now, as they hit Made in Detroit. And Alex Shelley just delivered a super kick straight to Montez Ford's chin, as they got the first elimination for their team of this matchup, eliminating a team that got 2 eliminations technically. And I want to say that's not too many teams here tonight, as Edge and Christian, I think, are the only other team to do that here. And while Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, they have 1 elimination, and Christian and Matt Hardy decided to team up here as Alex Shelley hits a Northern Light suplex and Chris Sabin hit a brain buster, taking Christian out. Edge, he's still taken out. And it looks like the Guns, they just caught Jeff Hardy. They just caught Jeff Hardy out of that crossbody, and it looks like they're getting ready to hit the Thunder Express, making Jeff Hardy hit his face right off the floor, and Alex Shelley hitting a sliced bread straight from the ground. They get the 2nd elimination of this matchup. They are almost just clean sweeping right now. And I mean, of course, what do you expect out of Motor City, as they are getting wrecked with a steel chair by Edge, as Christian comes flying in with a frog splash to Alex Shelley, and he goes in for the cover as Edge, he hits a spear through the middle rope, but the match isn't over. Alex Shelley kicked out. Alex Shelley is still somehow in this. And while Edge, he's looking on, the Hardys, they are looking on as Christian, he's trying to finish this up with a kill switch. Christian goes in for the pinfall. Will he secure the #1 contendership? He does not. Christian and Edge are going to be fighting as hard as they can to have one more opportunity at the tag team titles. And while Alex Shelley fighting hard to keep his team alive here, as he hit Christian with a shell shot, and he just jumped over Edge's spear, and he goes running after Edge, but Edge catches him in that stinger splash and throws him to the outside, but he landed on the apron, and they just hit a haluva kick enziguri combo as Motor City hit Skull and Bone. Chris Sabin picks Christian Cage up, and he hits that cradle driver, and that just secured the Guns' victory here with 3 eliminations, the most eliminations out of any team here tonight. I mean, they were the freshest team, which I guess makes sense to a degree, but the Guns, Motor City Machine Guns, walk away with the #1 contendership. But still to come, we've got a Pure Rules singles match with Bryan Danielson and Matt Riddle. We've got War Machine rules between the Brothers of Destruction and, well, War Machine, of course. We got The Beast versus The Limitless, Brock Lesnar versus Keith Lee in singles action. We've got the North American Championship on the line between Wardlow and the Hangman, Adam Page. We've got the Vigilantes going toe-to-toe with Team FTW. We've got AJ Styles versus MJF for the Intercontinental Championship inside of a steel cage. We've got a triple threat match for the United States Championship as John Silver, John Cena, and Finn Balor. And for the Tag Team Championships, we've got the Shield versus Umaga and Regal. Umaga and Roman Reigns having a little bit of family chemistry. And in the main event, we've got the Armageddon Gauntlet. But up next, we've got Mello versus Mysterio 3. So stay tuned.